it's football and other F words.
Hey there.
Hello.
Ooh, my
It's
volume's
been a
low.
while.
Has it?
I mean, it feels like it has. I mean, when's the last time we were in here?
Did we not do an episode 2 weeks ago?
Was it in here? Or was it at the ice rink place that we went to?
No,
T-Line.
it was 2 weeks ago because that was the episode everybody was mad at because we rambled for so long.
Oh, that's right. Which was also called our best episode.
That's what I had a couple of people DM me and I was like, Zach and I looked at each other at the end of that episode and said, that fucking sucked. And then Ross busted in the room and was just like, you guys fucking cooked tonight.
He handed us an Emmy he had made while we were back there, while he was back there behind the glass.
Gave me a goat for my field.
That is true.
Helped me graze.
I got hard after that show.
well.
Damn.
So here's where I'm at with Punch the Monkey.
So we've taken all your words to heart about us rambling too much, and we're going to lead the show with Punch.
There's got to be something fucking wrong with this monkey.
I don't know, man. Like
his mom's, maybe he's racist. Maybe he's in the Epstein files.
Could be.
Maybe he likes to dip, his chicken nuggets into something disgusting.
Is that a metaphor? Or
I don't know. I mean, like, it could be. No,
nuggets?
I mean, maybe he does, teabag people.
Yeah.
I don't know. But there's obviously got to be something wrong with this monkey.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's like, with cats, if the mother detects an illness or a sickness in a kitten, she will abandon it because it's weak. Maybe it's that, like, he just had a cold or something, and mom was like, we can't have this little sickling dragging us down.
Maybe he's this fucking serial killer.
He could be.
Why are we all to assume that this monkey, that the pack is the issue and not the monkey and not Punch?
Maybe he smells bad.
I mean, probably, but how much worse than everybody else? I mean, that's the question. I just don't think that Punch should get a free pass in all this.
Well, I see your point. Logically, it makes sense. I mean, I'm a guy that doesn't trust a lot of people. I think that's a good way to operate in life. But at the same time, there's just too much that we don't know. I just don't think we can make assumptions right now.
Well, and that's my thing is like everybody's like, oh, feel so bad for Punch and blah 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 blah. And oh, look, he gets a cute stuffed animal that he's probably fucking the shit out of. By the way,
hey.
He's humping that monk.
Get in where you fit in, brother.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Sometimes bad people gain social media notoriety. And maybe this is a bad person.
So, like, Punch the Monkey is the latest Paul brother.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see that.
Less talented, which surprisingly enough is a low bar. But, I mean, like, I have to say, Logan Paul is getting the shit kicked out of him by Myles Garrett, but damn good wrestler.
Oh, yeah, he's a great wrestler. I don't know. I just don't want to rule out the possibility that maybe Punch just, like, maybe he didn't know how to clean up after himself after he goes doo-doo, and mom was just like, we can't keep this kid around.
Yeah.
What a mess. What a hot mess this kid is. Like, I don't know. I want to root for the underdog, and
maybe he just listens to Creed constantly.
Well,
I'm just saying Creed constantly.
Bring him in here with us. Mark Tremonti's a fantastic guitarist.
We'll raise that child. Me and you will raise Punch.
You're going to make me spit my Wally's bean machine all over the place.
I'm just saying, like, let's all not just harp on the family. Maybe Punch is just a piece of shit.
Yeah, maybe, just practice judgment. You know, don't just rush to practice judgment. Don't rush to judgment. How is that for sound advice?
I also will say this, much like Punch, maybe your Titans offseason plan just sucks.
Dude, it's so bad. I get so tired of seeing all that stuff because none of it's good.
It really isn't. And I haven't I've yet to see one cohesive, comprehensive offseason plan that didn't make me want to vomit or shake a baby.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned Devin Lloyd and people get out their pitchforks. Like, why the fuck would we pay for Devin Lloyd? I'm like, y'all want Alec Pierce. And I just can't, like, I don't know, the people that are like, go get a wide receiver. Like, yeah, that sounds great in practice, but like those wide receivers are not out there, and Alec Pierce is not it. We should be talking about the corners. We should be talking about the edge rushers. We should be talking about the linebackers and the centers. And I just feel like everybody's like giving these big deals to, we're going to go get Alec Pierce, and then everything else falls into place.
Well, and I guess my thing is that people kind of lessen the importance of other positions too, kind of like what you're talking about. But Charlie Kohler, big free agent signing. Yeah, I'm not excited about that. Like, I understand that tight end may not be an exciting position, and everybody may, and we'll get into the bigger discussion, positional value in the draft, but it's just like Charlie Kohler or even like Tyler Higbee and all this stuff. Yeah, they're upgrades. Well, I don't know if Charlie Kohler is an upgrade over everybody, and really Tyler Higbee can't stay healthy. Yeah. So, like, have we not seen what the Tennessee Titans look for in all this too? Is that I've seen people like want to get guys that have been injured all the time. And I'm like, okay, well, the Tennessee Titans are not interested in unavailability.
Yeah.
I've seen people want to spend money on Trey Hendrickson, and I'm like, oh, that's $30 million of cash. Mm-hmm. Not worrying about cap hit, of cash spent in 1 year for a guy that doesn't fit the timeline of this team. Mm-hmm. You're the Dallas Cowboys, who are apparently moving on from Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson. Totally get it. Understand it. If you're the Baltimore Ravens and you want Trey Hendrickson, I'm just throwing another team out there. Heck, if you're the Chiefs and you want to go Trey Hendrickson and Chris Jones, like, I get it. Mm-hmm. What you can get for Trey Hendrickson in terms of cash is what you can get for two. You can get two players of acceptable value that help your team, young players that help your team. And for me, it's just this idea that I think everybody sees they have all this money, so you got to spend all of this money. And listen, this team has to have a different approach to free agency than it did last year. 100% understand, but it also means that you're not going to be able to sign in terms of quantity as many people as you want. So you're going to have to supplement that with the free agency. So when you're trying to upgrade the quality of 4 or 5 players from last year, which means the money spend goes up, that means you can't afford to spend money. And we're talking $30 million, $25 million in cash on one player, because you need that money to spend on a myriad of other players that at least raise the floor of your entire roster.
Yeah, but no, go get Tyler Linderbaum, no matter the cost. And I'm like also seeing like getting pushback on re-signing Chig. And I feel like I'm so off key with what the fan base seems to be wanting in this period.
I think everybody's looking at this offseason in a particular lens, and it's the offseason that I've been kind of preaching. I'm viewing it in the opposite lens.
Okay.
And I understand it's what I'm about to say is going to be a little bit counterintuitive. It feels like on the surface, but it's not.
We'll get through it.
Mike Bergonzi recently said on the Todd McShay podcast, and Todd McShay kind of tweaked it just a little bit, but to build around a young quarterback, it goes, Mike Bergonzi said protection, then playmakers. Mm-hmm. Todd McShay goes play callers, protection, playmakers. Mm. So playmakers, regardless, is dead last.
Yeah.
And when I'm looking at this free agency class, I'm seeing protection.
Yes.
Now, I view protection and probably a little bit different in the literal sense of what they're saying. I do obviously take into account, yes, protection means that, hey, you're protecting Cam Ward with a very good offensive line.
Right.
But I think you can also take this in another direction. You're also protecting Cam Ward with a good defense that doesn't require Cam Ward to go out onto a limb constantly.
It's part of it.
And in free agency, Trey Hendrickson, because everybody says, well, pass rushers don't hit free agency very often. That's true and not true. Trey Hendrickson hit free agency. Tennessee Titans just signed Bud Dupree. The same year that Bud Dupree was there, Trey Hendrickson was there. You just signed the wrong pass rusher.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so pass rushers do hit. In this particular year, the deepest free agency group is actually pass rushers.
I'm with it, man. I could rattle off 5 guys off the top of my head that would make this pass rush rotation better.
And not to mention, you just traded for Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah.
So not only do you have now Jermaine Johnson, Femi Oladejo, Jalen Harrell, you have a chance where you could still add one more of those, another guy.
2 more.
Two
even.
more.
Yeah.
And my free agency plan will have 2 more. But then 2 more guys, and you've eliminated the need to draft a pass rusher at 4.
Yeah. Well, you've eliminated the urgency to get a pass rusher.
So for me, it's like, fix the defense, because that does protect Cam Ward through free agency, because you're taking advantage of where the market is deep.
Yeah.
In turn, in doing that, get you a couple cornerbacks, get you a couple of defensive linemen, and get you maybe 1 or 2 linebackers.
Yeah.
And then you're set with your starting rotation for a good bit, and you're deep, and you're still developing younger guys. But then go attack center and right guard, because that's providing you direct protection for Cam Ward.
You need starters there too.
And then get your playmakers in the draft. I think that is just such the smartest way to do and approach this offseason.
Well, it's something I keep saying this offseason is like, lean into the strengths of the market. And the strengths of the market are free agent edge rushers, free agent corners, playmakers in the draft. Like that's, and there's room for this team to, we were kind of talking about this a little bit earlier, room for this team to actually plug their holes in free agency. And it's not to say, oh, they're going to get a splash guy at every position that they need help at. But if you get a guy that is serviceable, that is reliable, that has experience playing in the NFL, that is good enough to set you up for a draft that you can walk into and just say, we're taking the best player available, we're going to get our playmakers here, and we're going to feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, I don't understand this pushback of like, and it stems from the stuff I see from Jeremiah Love. Like, well, if you get Jeremiah Love or you get wide receiver in the first and second rounds, like that, well, who's gonna stop the opposing team's offense? And like, guys, you do understand free agency becomes before the draft.
Yeah.
This team does have cash to spend. It's likely, it's obviously going to cut L'Jarius Sneed, which gives you $16 million more in cash, which can pay for one other player that's providing you more than what L'Jarius Sneed does.
Yeah.
So it may be Kwity Paye at $16 million in cash. That cash goes to Kwity Paye because first-year cash is always the largest amount of cash you pay in a contract and blah, blah, blah.
I think he's one of the guys I would prioritize.
Right. So if you get that, you got Kwity Paye, then you got Jermaine Johnson, boom, boom, boom. You're looking pretty good.
That's a solid
base
to start on.
Because you still got Femi, you still got Jalen Harrell.
Yeah.
And then maybe a Kingsley and Agbar, which I go that route just to signify the type of player he is. He's a guy that is proven to be, at least right now, further along than Jalen Harrell and Femi Oladejo. Sure. But he's obviously not on the level of Kwity Paye and Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah.
So he's kind of that. He's a catch-all guy. We're putting a name or a face to a catch-all guy that should be your third edge rusher, fourth, depending on how the draft goes, or fourth, depending on how the development of Femi Oladejo and Jalen Harrell continues. So, like, that's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like focus where, like you said, where the strengths are, and the strengths are defense.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why free agency always comes before the draft, so you can fill these holes necessary on your roster. They may not be with all exciting names, but they got to be better than the names you got last year.
Yeah.
And that's the floor. You have the cash to do it, but because You have a copious amount of cash. You have a copious amount of salary cap. You're also spending on better players, which means that stuff gets eaten up fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to cut L'Jarius Sneed. And unfortunately, I'm looking at the math. I don't think there's a way you cannot cut Calvin Ridley if you're wanting a Wan'Dale Robinson or if you're wanting an Alec Pierce. You're going to have to cut Calvin Ridley, which means you've just created a hole. And yes, you may be able to fill that hole with Chimere DK, but we all have to be we all have to understand that if you are doing that, not only are you creating a hole, now you're expecting Chimere DK, Wan'Dale Robinson, Elikai Manor to pick up the slack of a 1,000-yard wide receiver.
Yeah.
And his touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
You got to find guys that score points. Like, why do people not want guys to score points? Julio Jones scored 18 touchdowns through the first 2 fucking seasons he was in the NFL. That's what you should be wanting. Here's a stat for you. Here's a stat for everybody at home. Tennessee's Titans scored 24 offensive touchdowns last year.
That's crazy to think about.
8 of those, technically 10 of those, came from Gunnar Helm, Chimere DK, Elikai Manor. 8 of those came from Chimere DK and Elikai Manor, who got a 4 apiece. Jeremiah Love and Omar Cooper scored 35 touchdowns by themselves, just the 2 of them.
Just the 2 of them. Yeah.
You need, I'm sorry.
Well,
you need young playmakers that you develop. You can't buy a wide receiver 1 in free agency.
So let me ask you something, Zach. If this team is hunting for playmakers, specifically that term, we're not going to specify by position, anything like that. But if they're looking for playmakers, based on who is available, because we can't just assume, Justin Jefferson's available for trade. But of the players available, who is the better playmaker than Jeremiah Love?
I don't think there's a player in this free agency that's better than Jeremiah Love.
So they have,
in terms of offensive playmakers.
Theoretically, they have an opportunity to get him at 4. I think there's some very fun discourse to be had about whether or not Arizona would be interested in a player of his caliber at 3. But theoretically speaking, Jeremiah Love, probably the best option if you're just looking for a playmaker this offseason. So why, again, then why are we so quick to dismiss that in the offseason plan? Is it just because people see, he's a running back and we've got it in our heads that over the last 10 years or whatever, running backs aren't important anymore? Because that's changing too, by the way. We're trending back towards heavier personnel.
Well, because of how defenses are being played.
Yeah.
Your running back is becoming a little bit more important. I mean, think about this. Have we ever thought that defensive head coaches like to run the ball because every defensive coordinator in America says you have to stop the run?
Yeah, because that's the one thing you can do to break the will of your opponent and just give you full control. Nobody says, well, we've got to, we're going to go out there and we're going to sling it around because that's going to open up the run game for us. I say that out loud and immediately think of, like the West Coast system that was designed to replicate the run with the pass game. But you get my point.
Yeah.
Like it's the thing is, like, you can control a game if you're running the ball.
Well, there's I think the top 10 rushing teams in rushing attempts, like 8 of them have winning records or 7 of them have winning records.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that even Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay have shown a commitment to the run. Now, when I say that, I don't mean a commitment of resources, even though you could argue Kyle Shanahan has shown a commitment of resources when you talk about what he traded for Christian McCaffrey and such, all that stuff. But their commitment to the actual run.
We don't have to go down this rabbit hole because I can talk about Sean McVay all fucking day, but most of what he does is predicated on making it easier to run the ball. And that's where I think there is kind of a misconception about Sean McVay is that, like, no, it's not that they're going to line up and throw the ball all over the yard. It is a very calculated offensive design to run the ball, and he's tweaking it every year and adapting and adding new wrinkles so that it is easier for them to run the ball. And it's off of that they are able to hit big plays in the passing game.
So I got two things here from Big 2033 in the chat.
Big 20.
He goes, I've lost all trust in the, quote, this is how you win narrative. It differs from team to team and situation to situation.
Ooh.
Love it.
Ooh.
Love it. A+.
Big 2033.
He also goes, it makes no sense to be completely out on a player who not only could put up 1,000+ yards in his rookie year, but can also catch 55+ passes. Blah, blah, blah.
And he can pass protect. You don't have to take him off the field. Like,
that's a playmaker.
That's a playmaker. That's a dude that changes the offense, that raises the floor of the offense, which we're
we love Tony Pollard, right?
Yeah.
And people are like, well, you can always find a running back elsewhere. Well, you can always find a wide receiver elsewhere. You can always find a pass rusher. Trey Hendrickson, I'll go back to him, 4th-round pick.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, you could do that about every position. And here's the thing. I can't remember, and it may have actually been Big 2033 on Twitter. I don't know if he's on Twitter. Is a black and white profile picture, so that's where I'm associating that with. The media has ran wild with the notion that running backs don't matter.
Not paying attention.
And I think that's harmed the running back. We actually talked about this maybe 2 years ago, where I feel like it's coming back around to the running backs.
Yeah, sure.
And I feel like media has done more harm than good with the running back position. But the same narratives that apply to running backs can be applied to every position. Quarterback is a premium position, right?
Yeah.
And how many times do we see quarterbacks flame out because they weren't actually really good? They just had quarterback, QB, as their initials.
Man, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, Jeremiah Love, I understood Bijan Robinson was very good. I think, me personally, I think Jeremiah Love is better than Bijan Robinson. I was a little low on Bijan Robinson.
I do too.
Compared to others, but I think Jeremiah Love is better.
I was high on Bijan Robinson, and I think Jeremiah Love's better. I think Jeremiah Love's better than Ashton Genty last year. Really, man, I've listened to a lot of draft people discuss the running back position, and in terms of talent, but also production for his team at that draft slot, I don't think there's really been a back like Jeremiah Love, not stylistically. I'm just, again, talking about draft position, importance to the team, that sort of thing, since Zeke Elliott in 2016. Yeah, because they got Zeke and Dak in the same draft, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, it's been almost 10 years since there's been this important of a running back, if you will, in my opinion. I like that you bring up Bijan Robinson, because that draft was really, really interesting. The Falcons picked him at 8th overall, if I'm not mistaken. And so
is 8th or 7th?
7th or 8th. Yeah, somewhere in there. Not too far behind where the Titans are at with 4th. And looking like, okay, well, let's put the Titans in that position where they have those needs, or they have the same needs. They're in that draft.
That was a Skoronski draft, right?
It was, yeah. So Bijan Robinson is available at that spot. Will Anderson was in that draft, but he goes 3 overall, so he's off the board. So if you're in the Falcons spot and you're looking at a playmaker like Bijan Robinson, or you're looking at edges like Lucas Van Ness and Will McDonald, who were the best on the board at the time, with Will Anderson being selected, like Bijan Robinson is the right choice of those players. And that's kind of where I see the Titans at 4th overall right now, where if you have – and now I do think like Bain, Reese, Bailey are all better than Lucas Van Ness and Will McDonald, but it's a similar thing where you're not getting the Will Anderson. You're not getting the Will Anderson. In that draft, he was already picked. In this draft, there's just no Will Anderson that exists. So in that spot, Yeah, like take the playmaker, take the guy that's going to raise the floor of the offense, is going to help your young quarterback by running the ball, going to give him another target. I mean, I'm not saying that Jeremiah Love's going to be wide receiver 1 on this team.
Right.
But he helps the pass game. And even if, you were talking earlier about they might have to cut Tony Pollard for cash purposes anyway, but even if they keep him, you're telling me you don't want Jeremiah Love and Tony Pollard?
Well, hell, we saw the chats. I mean, they would all want Jeremiah Love over Tony Pollard because they all hated Tony Pollard, didn't appreciate what he was. And we actually appreciate what he was last year.
Yeah.
And recognize the talent, but also recognize that Jeremiah Love is a guy you have under contract for the next 5 years who has low tread on the tires already. This ain't Ashton Jeanty. I was really out on Ashton Jeanty, and I know a lot of people who thought that he was some blue chip player.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, that dude is small, and he has about 700 carries on him.
A lot of wear and tear.
And I kind of look at it and I go, I wasn't high on him last year.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at Jeremiah Love, low tread on the tires, all these stats where he's better than even Bijan Robinson, or at least a close second to Bijan Robinson. And I'm like, yeah, you can have a premium pass rusher, right? I mean, there's some guys here that will get you some sacks, like Myles Garrett and Max Crosby do for their teams that haven't won. But here at Tennessee, we've seen that, man, when you have Derrick Henry, when you have Eddie George, when you have Chris Johnson for the most part, you tend to win.
You can piece together a pretty good defense with Harold Landry's and Derek Morgan's.
Right. And because if you get a Kwity Paye, and again, when we say Kwity Paye, because everybody's like, why do you guys are so high on Kwity Paye? I use names to kind of just tier a certain amount of players in. Like Kwity Paye is the name where you can be like, okay, like a B+ player.
Yeah, sure.
He's either one sack below Harold Landry or he's right there with Harold Landry. A B+ player. A B or a B+ player.
Better edge setter.
Better edge setter. But and not to get to the weeds. But that's just what I'm saying. When I say Kwity Paye, I mean that kind of player. Boy Mafe or whoever you want to put into that.
Yeah, there's a lot of those guys.
A lot of those guys in this draft or in this free agency class. Building a team and not just one superstar in free agency or one superstar in the draft, but like you get Jeremiah Love and you get Chris Brazzell, right? Chris Brazzell had 9 receiving touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
Okay, that is 30 touchdowns. That's still more than Tennessee Titans scored offensively last year between two players.
Yeah.
Find guys that find their way into the end zone. I know it's hard to predict that, but that's what you got to do. What you've seen from Wan'Dale Robinson is a guy that's too small to be a factor in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
He is a 4-touchdown guy, and that's what you're going to get. And listen, I understand that he's given you a specific need and he has a relationship with the offensive coordinator. But you're going to be paying him Christian Kirk money, and you're likely maybe going to get Christian Kirk production. And I'm using that as a jumping off point of like, you don't find your free agent solution. You don't find your wide receiver solutions in free agency. You find Band-Aids.
Yeah.
And that's fine. If you need to raise the floor of this wide receiver room, I'm never going to talk bad about raising the floor. But you have to understand as fans that if you sign Wan'Dale Robinson to a $17, $18 million, $20 million contract, I've seen some people say $24 million per year contract,
man.
You are never going to see the return on investment. When you sign Alec Pierce to close to a $30 million contract,
oh my God,
you are never going to see the return on investment. Calvin Ridley set the record for free agent wide receivers in per year contract. Tennessee Titans did not see the value in return on investment in that contract, and they're likely going to have to cut him after 2 years.
That hurts.
And you could say, well, that's Rand Carthon. Well, John Robinson did the same thing. Mike Reinfeldt did the same thing. Russ and Webster did the same thing. Floyd Reese did the same thing, overpaid bad players.
Yeah.
Because that's what's kind of in free agency in some of these markets. Not bad players per se, but you're overpaying. You're not, and fans don't set their expectations appropriately.
Yeah. It's almost like we can. It reminds me of the Dan Moore conversation a little bit. It's like we have to pay what we have to pay to get the guy. You know it's a bad deal, but there's nobody else to get, and we desperately need somebody. And I think the argument for me anyway is the more prudent move is to just not get yourself in trouble with these inflated deals. Take it on the chin and draft your solution instead.
Yeah, I would look at guys, when Corey Davis, there's a lot of Corey Davises.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's going to be like, well, you look at who Alec Pierce has had throwing to him, Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones.
Look at how they use Alec Pierce.
It's not the quarterback. The quarterback throwing the ball is not designing the offense.
No.
And by the way, Alec Pierce or Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones are the ones that got Alec Pierce paid.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones throwing the deep ball. They're the ones who are inflating his 21.3 yards per reception, because the best throws of Anthony Richardson's life were to Alec Pierce deep, not Alec Pierce's intermediate throws. And what did they do with Daniel Jones when they had him? They want to throw it deep.
Yeah.
And what is those guys are better deep ball throwers than Cam Ward.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think Alec Pierce is ever going to live up, no matter where he goes, to the $30 million a year contract that people think he's going to get.
Crazy.
He's going to break Calvin Ridley's record. And Calvin Ridley, if he had not had the gambling issues, would have been considered a better wide receiver than Alec Pierce. But Titans fans don't want to accept that because he just got injured. But Calvin Ridley is a better wide receiver than Alec Pierce.
Yeah, I mean, I just, I know this is probably one of those things that I'll say and people will call me an idiot for it. But, Shane Steichen is not a dummy. Shane Steichen, good offensive football coach. And I know the results haven't been what they wanted it to be in Indianapolis, but I think he's a guy that has a pretty firm grasp of his personnel. I think he's used guys to the best of their abilities, and it's clear that they see Alec Pierce as a speed deep shot guy. If they were so confident in his ability, why would they invest premium draft capital in A.D. Mitchell?
Yeah, they were just trying to replace Alec Pierce a few seasons ago.
I get it. It's sexy because he makes splash plays, but I studied a lot of the Colts tape early on in the season to prep for Titans games, and he was a guy that they threw to maybe 2 or 3 times a game to maybe pick up a chunk play.
Wan'Dale Robinson is more versatile than Alec Pierce, but Alec Pierce is a bigger playmaker than Wan'Dale Robinson.
I wouldn't
spend the money. I wouldn't spend the money on really either if I had the choice. And to be honest, with the way that their market is shaping up, at least.
And we come back to what I was talking about with Dan Moore a little bit. These guys are younger players that are the best available at their position. So if you need that piece, you have to overpay to get them. And I just don't see the Titans in a position now where, you know what, we can sustain the hit to pay one of these guys because these guys are going to put us over the top and we're going to go to the Super Bowl with them. It's just not where the Titans are at right now.
You may get a mercenary out of it, right?
Yeah.
And when I say that, you may pay Alec Pierce to be a number 1 wide receiver, and he may get you 1,000-yard season. But that's about maybe what all you're getting. These guys have not shown to be multiple season 1,000-yard receivers.
Yeah.
And I would guarantee you, if Wan'Dale Robinson, if Malik Neighbors hadn't gone down with injury, Wan'Dale Robinson would have not gotten 1,000 yards this year.
Yeah, that's something to consider too.
If, Daniel Jones hadn't been the quarterback for Indianapolis this year,
yeah.
Alec Pierce wouldn't have gotten 1,000 yards.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
I'm just letting you all know. You find high-end wide receiver twos at best in free agency. You have to trade or draft a wide receiver one.
It's the certainly the precedent where the NFL is at today. You can't just forgive me if I've already said this out loud and not just in my head, but you can't just pay a guy a bunch of money and say he's a wide receiver one now.
Yeah.
Because there's still the tape to account for.
Right.
A player is what a player is.
I mean, look at what the Tennessee Titans have on their team right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can find.
Do you think Alec Pierce at this stage in his career can turn into a wide receiver one?
Well, no, he hasn't shown me that he can.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's just real quick run through a roster of there's 52 players currently on the Tennessee Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Ward, Will Levis, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, Khalil Mullins, Blake Watson.
Oh, I forgot about Blake Watson.
Calvin Ridley, Chimere DK, Elikai Manor, Mason Kinsey, Xavier Streppo, Hal Presley III. Gunnar Helm, David Martin Robinson, Joel Wilson. So I've just read you quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Running back is the strongest, wide receiver is the second strongest, then tight end, then quarterback in terms of depth. Okay. Don't see a reason right now where I should be spending a lot of money on wide receiver.
Yeah.
At least off this right now. Then you go Dan Moore, Peter Skoronski, J.C. Latham.
Man, that sucks.
You have Brendan Crenshaw Dixon and Ryan Hayes. And then I think they signed and Jackson Slater, Dre Moss, Clay Webb, Trey Hill, Garrett Dellinger.
Mm-hmm. Future starting center.
So
Clay
what's
Webb.
more important after I read that? Alec Pierce or finding your center and your right guard?
Finding your center and your right guard.
There we go.
Alec Pierce, I'm sure he's a nice guy. Respectfully can kick rocks.
Your center and right guard, and I understand that based on PFF grades, Kevin Zeitler ended his year pretty fine, and I know overall he's ranked pretty highly. I don't trust a guy that's doing the PFF offensive line from what I watched and what he watched to really say that Kevin Zeitler was actually pretty good last year. I think there's a lot of cope in that from the sentiment of the fan base. Okay, so you need a starting center and a starting right guard.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the defensive line. Well, you just have Jeffrey Simmons for the interior defenders.
Oh, fuck. You do just have – you just
You got
traded
C.J.
Sweat,
Ravenel,
who just –
Cam Horsley, Timmy Horn, Isaiah Rakes.
Hey, listen, I like that crop of young guys, but those are, to be fair, those are practice squad guys that you develop and maybe turn into something a couple more years.
You got Jeffrey Simmons.
You got Jeffrey Simmons, and you need two starters at least.
And one of those is going to be John Franklin Myers.
Yeah. Well,
that's going to cost you some money, allegedly. But that's going to cost you some money.
Yeah.
So we need a starting center, starting right guard, and a starting defensive lineman, which are all going to be pretty high-priced pieces.
Yeah.
Your edge is Jermaine Johnson and Femi Oladejo. Jalen Harrell, Truman Jones, Ali Gay, David Ibuka Agoba.
Who?
Yeah, apparently he's on the team. Nate Lynn are your defensive ends.
I don't know who those last two people are.
I mean, I'm reading this off of irongrids.com. Shout out to irongrids.com for giving this over to me. So you got Jermaine Johnson and Olufemi Oladejo.
Yeah.
And Jalen Harrell.
So you need a starting edge rusher.
So we need two edge rushers. And then at linebacker, we have Cody Barton, Cedric Gray, James Williams, Dorian Mousey, Cam Riley. So you probably need to cut Cody Barton.
Yeah.
Okay. So then that means you need two linebackers. Cornerback, Marcus Harris, Micah Robinson, and Keedrain Callaghan.
Brother, we're in the shitter. We're in the shitter at cornerback.
So now you need two starting cornerbacks.
Yeah.
And you need all this before you go into free agency, people.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? You need a kicker, you need a punter, and you need a long snapper. And the only safeties behind Amani Hooker and Kevin Winston Jr., who has shown to be injury-prone so far, Kendall Brooks, Sanusi Kane, and Eric Hallett. Guys, you can't just spend on one player. There's just no way you can spend on just one player $30 million in cash when you can spend on two players at $15 million cash in a piece and get two players for the price of one. And I am just telling you, Trey Hendrickson, Alec Pierce, they would be stupid to pay for those guys in that range.
It would be pretty damaging to the depth of the roster because, you know, we're talking about starters they need to go get for the most part, but like they've still got to get floor raisers to build out depth on this team too.
Right.
Like, and that's why
you're
I
fine at depth at edge, but that's why you need two other edge players to go with Jermaine Johnson because you don't know how far Jalen Harrell can actually take in his third year. Yeah. You don't know what Femi Oladipo is going to be in his second year.
Yeah. So, like, I keep coming back to this. I think this is part of my issue with it is I'm still looking at this like we're still deep into a rebuild here. We need prudent moves to establish a system.
And you need guys on 3-year contracts, not 1-year mercenaries, which is they did the Washington Commanders thing very well last year. But taking that approach with the Washington Commanders approach, they came out with the same amount of games. It failed. That approach failed. So when you're taking that approach, the Washington Commanders approach, and you're trying to penny pinch at these positions, well, you're going to get players that aren't as good as players that you're going to have to spend on.
Yeah.
So you need to spend on a Reek Woolen or a Alontae Taylor. You need to spend on maybe a Wan'Dale Robinson, but not an Alec Pierce. You need to spend on maybe trading and swapping fifths for Tremaine Edmonds to get $15,000 in cash to pay for Tremaine Edmonds. You may need to spend on guys like Kwity Paye a little bit more expensive, or guys like Kingsley and Egbar, Cordell Flott, like these guys that you may need to spend on that are better than what you got last year in free agency.
Yeah.
But because they're better, they cost more.
Yeah. And I get it. It's the hope of a new offseason. It's, hey, there's a new coach in town. Like Cam Ward looked great. The rookie class was awesome. We're going to turn this thing around. But I still sit back and I think they've got a lot of team building, roster building to do. And I just feel like these big ticket free agent guys, these are moves that teams that are just a piece or two away make. There's two buckets. There are the teams that are a piece or two away. You sign the free agent, you go on the run, or there are teams that think this is how you build a team and it inevitably fails and they keep spending in free agency. And so there's this perpetual cycle of just being the off-season champs and then petering out during the season. So if you want to stop being that team, you know, you just kind of have to take it on the chin a little bit and say, we're going to be more prudent. We're going to be smarter about how we spend our money. And we're going to stop chasing these expensive receivers and aging playmakers and all that stuff. What are you efforting over there?
Well, it's just I hate this new Pro Football Reference site. They have Cloudflare.
You got to check the box.
I
every
hate
time.
every time almost. It's terrible. It's terrible. So I want to go back to like that 2016 Tennessee Titans offseason.
Okay.
And the reason being is because I was hoping that this team would find players like that last year.
Yeah.
That's when they found Rashard Matthews. They traded for DeMarco Murray's. Ben Jones was another one. Was that not the Brian Orakpo year, or was that the year before? I thought that was Brian Orakpo.
I thought that was the year before.
And maybe it was.
Could be wrong.
But like Ben Jones, these guys that nobody really knew about, right?
Yeah.
that everybody's like, who? That's the guys you need because those are the guys that turn into your starters.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben Jones was a 3-year contract, 4-year contract, something like that. And that's the guys you need. You don't need Tyler Linderbaum when you can get Connor McGovern.
Yeah. Hopefully.
You may not even need Connor McGovern if you are like you and you feel pretty comfortable about Luke Fortner. I don't know, but I've not watched a lot of Luke Fortner since he's been in the league, but
I like Luke Fortner.
But I'm just saying, I look at always free agency, the big spenders in free agency typically are the losers.
Yeah. Yeah.
More often than not, they are. Yes, you could point to the New England Patriots last year.
How often does that happen?
It very rarely does it happen.
How often does a team go into free agency?
Because usually it's the Browns and the Jaguars that do it.
One saying, well, you know what? We have a need at defensive tackle, and it just so happens there's a defensive tackle the caliber of Milton Williams that's available.
And to be honest,
like that doesn't always line up in and of itself. And then you look across the roster, they hit on all the guys.
Yeah. Well, and let's also be honest about one thing about the Patriots signings is that outside of Milton Williams, they all kind of stunk.
Well, and now
to be honest,
they're kind of
besides Stephon Diggs got you 1,000 yards, which is very rare, but he obviously was not the playmaker he always was.
Well, and now they're also in a spot now where they're having to make decisions on a lot of these guys, where it's like, oh shit.
I mean, like Harold Landry was not worth the contract they gave him.
No, he wasn't.
Because if you're talking about in terms of on-field production, now you can obviously pay for other things, which is what I think they were doing. Remember, because everybody's like, oh, he's got 3.5 sacks or 3 sacks through 3 games or whatever it was. And everybody's like, oh, Tennessee Titans should never have gotten rid of Harold Landry, blah, 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 blah. And then he averaged like 5.5 sacks or 5 sacks or got only 5 sacks over the course of the rest of the entire year, including the playoffs.
Yeah.
So he was always who he was supposed to be, and they overpaid for it.
Mm-hmm.
But what they did probably get was a guy that knew what Mike Vrabel wanted, how Mike Vrabel wanted to do things, and they were establishing a culture. Yeah. I think that's kind of what you're getting with John Franklin Myers is like you're getting a guy that could be next to Jeffrey Simmons that can probably get you 7 sacks, which is great. Not going to diminish that. But he's a guy that kind of set in the culture. Can I also say that Tennessee Titans fans are really wanting all the players that are associated with the Giants and Jets that never had a winning season? Can I just throw that out there? Like, we do have to understand that we have a head coach who has a losing record as a head coach, an offensive coordinator who I think is a way better offensive coordinator than a head coach. But he's never had a winning season either as a head or winning record as a totality as a head coach. And we're all wanting those players.
Yeah, like run it back.
Just saying. That's why I feel like Mike Bergonzi needs to be the one running the ship and not just a player fit my scheme back here, even though he only had 4 touchdowns or he only had like 7 sacks or this and that. We need to be kind of branching out a little bit and get players. You know, I'm not saying that you have to be cheap all the way through at every position or anything, but you have to be judicial with how you spend your money. Be deliberate in how you spend your money. Everybody's like, you got to remember this is a cash-strapped regime.
Yeah.
Last year, I predicted that they would spend around $280 million in cash.
Mm-hmm.
That's roughly what they spent last year. I think they came in a little bit more than my 282. They spent more.
Yeah.
By like 285. It's still in the 280s, I believe. Okay. So I'm pretty close in thinking that the Tennessee Titans are probably going to spend around $300 million in cash. 160 something is already tied up into active contracts. 44 is going to be wrapped up in the draft class. So that leaves you roughly about $90 million in cash. That will go up to 100 once you cut L'Jarius Sneed and all this stuff. It'll go past 100. But you have so many holes. I mean, we just listed to them.
So
you have to be deliberate and you have to prioritize and you have to play the free agency class. The free agency class is not thick at wide receiver. And I'm not saying fuck wide receivers in free agency, all of them, but that should be the 5th or 6th priority for this Tennessee Titans team in free agency.
Yeah, I agree. Well said. Let me further complicate matters. How do extensions for players like Peter Skoronski, maybe Jeffrey Simmons,
they'll eat up a lot of that cash because you're paying
what's left over,
money up front in that stuff. Now, you'll save money in cap space on both of those things.
Yeah.
A minimal amount of money saved with Peter Skoronski, a considerable amount of money, but cap space isn't the issue. Cash is the issue when you're building a new stadium. Cash is the issue.
Yeah.
Unless Amy Adams is going to do something that we haven't seen in a while and open up the cash over a percentage over the adjusted salary cap that they typically have, which is rollover plus salary cap, they're likely not going to. I don't know if they will do that. If she does that, that changes everything.
Yeah.
But when you're building a new stadium on top of everything that they have been doing, I don't consider that they're going to go out and throw more money, a copious amount of more money. I've used copious like 3 or 4 times today.
It calls for it, though.
Yeah.
Well done.
A gluttony of more money than what they have used previously.
Yeah.
I just don't I'd have to see it to believe it. And I'm not, if I was an owner, a multi-billionaire or whatever, yeah, probably. I would kind of take the route of what most of the winning teams do and spend $350,000 or $350 million.
Build a team on $350,000?
Yeah, $350,000. But $350 million. But we've never seen Amy Adams Strunk do that.
Yeah. So where are you at on those 2 players and their extensions? How would that factor into – well, I don't want to give away your offseason plan because it's –
Well, that's been the hard part is that I do think Peter Skoronski and Big Jeff need to go ahead and be extended now because another year is just going to make them more expensive. But again, that eats into the cash you can spend in free agency, or at least the cash that Amy Adams Strunk shown that she is willing to spend.
Yeah. I feel like Jeff should be a priority. There is – I don't know, man. Like, I have a gut feeling that it's not so cut and dry with Peter Skoronski because I don't know, man. I know he's good, and I know everybody talks about him, but you're talking about a guy that's going to get quite the payday because he's a very good guard, perennially underrated, all that stuff. But I also think, like, how does Mike Borgonzi view him? Because he's one of Rand's guys. I think that one would be read too much into that, just because I don't think Peter Skoronski has the question marks that I don't think Peter Skoronski conflicts with the internal beliefs or viewpoints of Mike Borgonzi's strategy. Okay. Yeah. See, that's fair. I would be curious to know, like, are they gonna?
If they do not extend Peter Skoronski, this would be the Jack Conklin thing all over again.
I'm with you, but I'm almost thinking, like, if they don't extend him this offseason, I think it's bad news for his long-term future as a Titan.
Well, I think it's bad news for the Tennessee Titans pocketbook.
Yeah, because then
because you still have his 5th-year option. He's going into his 4th year. I think they did exercise his 5th-year option, if I'm not mistaken, already.
I don't remember. I might have missed that, but
I mean, I'm not like he's going to be here for 5 years. But I mean, the way that he is trending, you'd be stupid not to go ahead and sign him when trenches have shown to matter in the NFL.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at by bringing these 2 up is that an extension for Peter Skoronski, an extension for Jeffrey Simmons probably.
And I forgot, Joe Blacko, great memory here, even though it was only just a week ago. Borgonzi did say that extending him is a priority.
Fuck yeah. All right. Well, the bull knows what he's doing. I don't know that those would be viewed as sexy moves from the Titans fans clamoring Alec Pierce wide receiver 1, but those 2 moves would excite me quite a bit.
Well, those 2 moves would be why you don't go Alec Pierce.
Yeah.
That way.
So,
I'm just saying, like, all these moves are connected.
Let's break it down like that then and ask Titans fans, would you rather have Alec Pierce or would you rather have Peter Skoronski and Jeffrey Simmons extended?
Because you do have to choose.
Yeah.
People are like, well, why do I have to choose? Well, you have to choose because that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
The reality of the situation is that Amy Adams-Strunk and ownership are building a new stadium, which requires cash. And these players require upfront cash. And when you do an extension or you do a restructure or anything like that, in any of those terms, that requires cash on hand upfront paid to the player in most situations. Very rare situations do you do anything else with it. And when you sign a player to a new contract, their signing bonus, that large number you see, is usually paid up front, and then they get paid their base salary. Mm-hmm. So that is your first year cash, and maybe there's some incentives thrown in. That's your first year cash. So if you're extending Peter Skoronski and he gets maybe a $30 million signing bonus, well, that's $30 million plus his base salary. That also, guess what? Alec Pierce wants $30 million or 27 or 28. Like the numbers, that's how it works.
Yeah.
There's just no way really around it.
I know a way they could save some money. Jason Bean, backup quarterback.
There you go.
You don't have to worry about some expensive vet.
To me, I'm pretty staunch right now. Listen, if it's Sonny Styles is the only guy that I'm going to be ultra pumped up for besides Jeremiah Love, because I'm like, those guys are blue chip players. For me, it's just like Jeremiah Love, wide receiver in the second at 35, makes just way too much sense for this team.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to get into that discussion, the options that are going to be available around 35, because I'm really curious. This wide receiving class kind of seems to have different molds at the top of the class, right? Like you've got your Carnell Tate, who's kind of a rangier catch radius guy, long arms, throw the ball up, he's going to come down with it type of receiver. You've got a Jordan Tyson who has the medical concerns, but when he's healthy, I agree there are some questions about his physicality, but probably the best mover, probably the best route runner in the class. Mekhi Lemon, a fun gadgety kind of guy, versatile, slot outside motion, all that stuff. Casey Concepcion, kind of, a little bit like Chimere Dike, I think. Like the crossers, he's a weapon on. He's got the speed. He's got the yak ability. Denzel Boston, the ball winner. You can go on.
Are you just naming every wide receiver? What are we doing here?
I'm fascinated to see how teams view these guys because I don't think there's a prospect in this class that is just so well-rounded that if you need a receiver, that's the guy that can do it all. You go get that guy. So I do think there's a scenario where, well, you know what? If Carnell Tate doesn't go in the top 10, maybe, if the Steelers need a ball winner, they take Carnell Tate. And if he's the first ball winner that goes, maybe Denzel Boston slides down a little bit and he's available at 35. If these teams are scared of Jordan Tyson's medicals and they decide we're going to go with Casey Concepcion, we're going to go with Mekhi Lemon, maybe Tyson starts to slide and he's available at 35. You look at there's a million different ways that it can go. So I'm really curious to see who actually is available at 35, because I don't know, if you're the Titans, I'm kind of, the way I'm feeling right here tonight is that you kind of, something we said earlier, you just need playmakers. So that I don't know that they need to be picky. Something I probably would have said earlier in this offseason is they need a bona fide X guy, ball winner type of receiver.
I would love an X guy, but I just think you need guys that can score.
And that's where I've kind of come around is I don't think if they want to go receiver at 35, and I don't want to get everybody's hopes up, but my gut feeling right now is that it would be hard to fuck that up.
I'd agree.
I think there's going to be a good guy there at 35 that's going to be a player in the league.
Yeah. I was looking at it today. People think that there's going to be 7, 8 offensive linemen that go in the first round. Well, even if they go in the top 40, that means a good wide receiver is likely to fall to you.
Yeah.
What if it is Mekhi Lemon because, he looks like Khan from Jungle Book when he talks?
Right.
What if it is Casey Concepcion because he has a stutter for whatever reason? What if it is Denzel Boston or Omar Cooper or Chris Brazzell, like these guys
there's people that think Cooper's going to go in the top 15.
Oh, there's people that think that he's wide receiver 1. I mean, for me, it could be Jordan Tyson because of the medicals. I am with you. It would be, and second round wide receivers typically produce.
Yeah.
Second round edges do not. So I think you need to go playmakers, but I'm looking at this also from the strategy of I'm going to go defense heavy. I want to spend my money in free agency on defense. That's where I had the most holes on this team is on defense. I'm going to go, really, I'm probably going to spend technically my biggest contract will probably be at center.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to fill the most holes via free agency on defense. Yeah. And if you do that, that allows you to do a couple of different things. Give Robert Saleh enough to make this a top 15 defense, which helps Cam Ward not have to be all on his shoulders.
Yep.
And then you can go get Jeremiah Love and a wide receiver at 35, and you have now supplemented what maybe you missed out on free agency on offense with the added protection or upgraded protection at center and right guard. And Jeremiah Love, and I'm just going to keep going Omar Cooper just because he's number 35 on the consensus board. But if you add Jeremiah Love and Omar Cooper to this team, that looks great for the thing. Now, I would still want a free agent wide receiver, whether that's settling for Romeo Doubs, whether that's maybe getting a Van Jefferson and a Kendrick Bourne. Those aren't sexy, but they're role players. But the point is, you're hoping that Elikai Manor, who has the 12th most receiving yards from a rookie wide receiver season over the last 2 seasons of 63 wide receivers.
Man.
Over the last 2 seasons, he's number 12. Chimere Dike is number 16. What you're hoping is that those guys take the second leap. Because here's the thing. If Cam Ward takes the leap, he doesn't take the leap alone.
Right.
He brings people with him.
Mm.
And so the fact that he would be bringing Gunnar Helm, Elikai Manor, Chimere Dike, Jeremiah Love, and a rookie, you're at least getting 3 more years of that core.
I was about to say, that's a core. That's a nucleus right there.
That's
to build
3 minimal years of all those players I just named.
Yeah.
Where we're talking Chimere Dike, Elikai Manor, insert wide receiver at 35 here, Jeremiah Love, Gunnar Helm, Cam Ward. 3 minimal years that those guys play together. That would complete the rookie year contracts of the guys drafted last year. And you're telling me you can't get excited about that if you're a Titans fan while your defense is at least 15th best in the NFL?
I mean, that kind of sounds like a competitive roster to me. So
draft your edge guy in the 3rd round. Draft your edge guy in the 4th round.
Well,
if you need another edge,
too.
I would sign all these guys. Sign the edge. Sign 3 Kwity Pays, or whatever. Just sign those kinds of guys. You just traded for one.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Jermaine Johnson, former 1st-round pick, is on this team this year.
Mm-hmm. So.
Get you 2 more and you're good. Why do you even have to draft an edge at that point?
I also think that this is another area where you look at leaning into the strength of the market. This draft class at edge is so fucking deep. I mean, we're working on our draft guide right now, and I'm kind of divvying up my final rankings on these guys. And like 20 deep at the position, like guys can play in the NFL. So if that's the case, well, you take advantage of it. You don't really need an edge guy that early in the draft. You can get a guy on day 3 that's probably going to come in and be a nice little supplemental addition to that rotation.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if you walked away, okay, what's the Titans picks, real quick?
Okay,
I should look this up.
I don't know.
Okay, hold on.
Check in on the chat tonight. How's the chat doing? How's the chat?
They're stupid.
Very active. Very active.
Okay, they are picked 35 and 66. Okay, so 4, 35, 66.
Yeah.
So if we get Jeremiah Love at 4, and I'm going over to the consensus draft board.
Omar Cooper at 35.
Omar Cooper at 35. 66. Oh, this is just too good.
Derek Moore.
You nailed it.
Derek Moore.
Derek Moore, 66. So you're telling me that if you walked away from day 3, first up, that would be one of the best drafts compared to the consensus Tennessee Titans have had in the last, 7 years. But you're telling me that if you walked away with signing Kwity Paye, Kingsley and Agbar, again, insert player name of those caliber there, Jermaine Johnson, Femi Oladejo, Jalen Harrell, Derek Moore, Jeremiah Love, Omar Cooper, you're not happy as a Titans fan?
Brother, that's to the windows, to the walls right
Give
there,
me a
man.
break. People are just overthinking it.
Yeah, I think that's – it's a lot of philosophical stuff about go get your wide receiver 1 and running backs aren't valuable and that kind of stuff that I'm like, it's like we're missing context here.
Malachi Lawrence was just 2 steps ahead of him. So of Derek Moore.
Malachi Lawrence is fucking good, man.
I mean, I'm just saying there's round 2 edge rushers for whatever reasons, a Bermuda Triangle of shit. So get through round 2 without an edge rusher.
Yeah.
I promise you guys, you will be okay to get away from round 2. Does that mean you can wait till round 6, like the Titans did to draft Jalen Harrell? No offense, Jalen Harrell, but you
good
can't.
Young player.
Yeah, you can't wait that long. But if you skipped it in round 1 and round 2, I think you'll be fine in round 3. You're talking about guys like Derek Moore, Malachi Lawrence, Danny Diaz Sutton. There's Romello Hyde, if that's your thing. Joshua Joseph, if that's your thing. Gabe Yakis, if that's your thing.
Man, if he's still there at 66, I think he's going to go a lot higher than people expect. But
I'm just saying that there's ways around it than having to go in the second. People think you have to draft a premium edge rusher high when you can find 10 sack guys throughout the entire draft.
Let's keep this going then. Double down on corner in the 4th round.
Let's do it.
We're putting together an actual practical strategy for rebuilding this roster.
Yeah.
That does not involve spending $30 million on Alec Pierce.
Yeah.
And I think that's my disconnect this offseason is I'm all about the prudent moves, making the team better long term. Don't do, to quote Mike Vrabel, don't do dumb shit that hurts the team.
I think right now, if you were to approach every GM across the league and you said rank your top 5 deepest positions, wide receiver would not be in that top 5 in free agency.
Yeah.
In free agency.
Yeah.
And I think they would say, though, in the opposite, that it would be in the top 5 in the draft.
Yeah.
So what should that tell you as a Titans fan?
And you could get another receiver late on day 3. Lewis Bond out of Boston College.
Yeah. Hey, Tyron Montgomery, who got jilted from the combine, who deserved to be there.
This guy from Cincinnati, this big old burner. I haven't watched his tape. I shouldn't vouch for him yet. But
you could probably get Logan Jones as an undrafted free agent.
Who?
Logan Jones.
Who's Logan Jones?
That's just some shitty Iowa offensive lineman.
I was picturing I was not picturing the center.
Every day we open up the chat of cover 2, and it's a Bustin' Diamond saying Logan Jones at 101.
Yeah.
So I got to throw a little bit of shade at him.
I still haven't watched Logan Jones. He's on my list, I promise. But that's funny. I was about to say Iowa. You mean Caden Weegan? The little gadgety return guy? Where are you at on Calvin Austin? Just to shoehorn this into the conversation.
He just never lived up to what I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, but he's still got a lot of talent.
Yeah, and he started realizing, I think, that talent a little bit more last year with the Steelers.
Was he a fit for that system with his skill set? I mean,
ooh, that's a good question when you talk about the systems and Calvin Austin.
I think he could be a pretty fun, cheap option for the Titans.
I'd be in on some Calvin Austin. I'm not going to turn away a Memphis grad.
Yeah, so I
best football school in the state.
I caught some flack because I caught some flack on Twitter because I put together a list of free agents that I would like for the Titans to sign, and I'm pretty sure Calvin Austin was the only wide receiver I put on that list, and people were like, "The fuck are you smoking, brother?" Calvin Austin, wide receiver 1. If you just pay him the money, you can say that.
Yeah,
you can make him.
That's what you've learned over the course of free agency.
I'd be willing to give him a shot in this offense. And more importantly, we haven't even touched on this tonight. I'm kind of coming around on let's give Chimere Dike a shot at the X. Let's kick him outside
at the X.
See what he can do.
The X.
Why not?
I will say, versus press man coverage, 4.4 average yards of separation and lined up out wide.
Yeah.
And all kinds of coverage, 4.4 yards per separation.
Make him.
People don't understand that Chimere Dike was getting open. The ball just was not coming his way.
Yeah, so put him on the isolated side of the formation. Get him one-on-one with a guy.
Listen, and I joke about it. This team may be just collecting a bunch of Z's and slots and just infinity stones.
Yeah.
But as long as someone fucking produces and get in the end zone, and to your point about the overall wide receiver class, really hard to fuck it up at 35, is that I just want yards and points.
Yeah.
You know why? Because that means that Cam Ward threw for a lot of yards and threw for a lot of touchdowns.
They scored a lot of points. Yeah.
And I don't know. Seems to me that over the last 3 or 4 seasons of averaging 17 points per game or less, that we maybe want some fucking playmakers and guys that can find the end zone.
Well, you know what? Maybe they just need to start Xavier Restrepo from the jump this season. Maybe that's the move that we're sleeping on.
Oh, it's Restrepo?
We forgot about Restrepo. He's going to be the slot. He's
the X.
He's the X.
Because he's literally
the X.
Yeah.
Xavier Restrepo at the X, one-on-one with.
Well, if Jason can do it, surely Xavier Restrepo can.
That's true. It's that easy.
That's how people viewed him in this fan base last year.
Yeah, you just got to say it out loud, and then it becomes true. Yeah. I think, in all likelihood, I feel like that X is a position they'll want to, like right now, Alec Ayumanner is probably the incumbent, right? As
I would argue that the way that technically Brian Dable has kind of shown that he loves a 3-by-1 bunch formation, maybe Gunnar Helm is considered the X when you start lining him up by himself out wide on the line of scrimmage while there's 3 wide receivers bunched up. That's not to say that obviously he's still a tight end. You get what I'm saying? But like the way that speaks to the broader point of Brian Dable's just like, let's just fucking throw shit out there. I mean, the Buffalo Bills have been fine scoring points without a bunch of X's.
That's true.
I mean,
that's a good.
Khalil Shakur, Keon Coleman is like an ex-Bills wide receiver eventually at some point.
So
but they're like
supposed to be an X.
He's supposed to be an X, but he never really was. But like, I don't know. Other teams make it work without an alpha wide receiver because the scheme is so good. I mean, you can even look at the 49ers last year. I mean, you would almost consider Christian McCaffrey, if the number one wide receiver, quote unquote, number one wide receiver is quote unquote the X. Well, Christian McCaffrey or George Kittle's probably your X over there.
Yeah.
When Brandon Ayuk was gone, Deebo Samuel left, no Ricky Pearsall. They made it work. So it's kind of like, I think I'm kind of with you. The more we've kind of talked about is like, if they do, I poke fun at it, but if they do view this draft as, well, let's just get a bunch of Z in slots and we're just going to fucking move guys around and make you guess, that's likely going to work for everybody.
Yeah, and hey, that's also to hark back to our theme of the night. leaning into the strengths.
Just lean into the strengths. You know what? If you have to have an X wide receiver, you got Alec Iamaner.
Yeah, that's
But if you just want good players, just draft good players. I don't know why it has to be more complicated than that, and why the 2 letters next to in the position column matter so much more than the film.
Yeah.
Because if you don't think Jeremiah Love could be part of this rebuild.
Jeremiah Love, ex-receiver.
Yeah, there you go. Jeremiah Love fits this rebuild timeline.
He does, man.
We just talked about. You would have 3 years minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum 3 years of Jeremiah Love and Cam Ward. Mm-hmm. How does that not fit a rebuild?
Beats me.
All right, that'll do it for us.
Well,
what?
Oh, we got it. We've forgotten for like 3 weeks in a row now.
I should open the show with this, but I was too busy dunking on Punch. Okay. We're working on live in person, not live broadcast for right now, but live in person draft show plans for night 1, night 2, day 3.
There we go.
We're working on it. We'll at least be live day 3 on the stream no matter what.
Yeah.
We are working on draft parties for each of those 3 nights where not the first 2 nights will not be able to be live streamed anywhere. We will go live on like our personal Twitters and stuff, but we won't be able to go live because Titans Radio streams live on Zone TV.
Yeah.
But we will be somewhere for those 3 nights. We're working on where that is. So if you are a bar or a brewery that is listening to this, and our people at 104.5, our people have contacted your people, you better be answering that phone and answering that email.
We're going to be somewhere, and we're going to invite you guys to come along with us.
Yes. Obviously, all of our audience is invited to no matter where we're going to be at. Mm-hmm. I've kind of thought of maybe having like a fishbowl where people can ask us questions and then we answer it.
I love that.
Or people can come up and, spend maybe 2 minutes and get 2 questions and we answer it and stuff like that. So.
Let's put me in a dunk tank where people can throw a softball and dunk me in the water.
Okay, we're going to do that for you.
Too far? Is that too much? That's probably
for
too
you.
hard. That's too
you
hard.
Have to. You are going to have to effort the dunk tank.
I'm not going to do that. I got too much shit to do.
Well, there you go. So that's out the window.
Yeah. Well, I'm just spitballing ideas here how we can make these draft parties fun.
But there will be some form of football and other F words, sanctioned or unsanctioned, draft party.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know. But go ahead and put it on your calendar to say, hey, these guys may be doing something that Thursday night. These guys may be doing something that Friday night. These guys may be doing something that Saturday where I can attend. So I better go ahead and tell my wife or my husband or my boyfriends, my girlfriends, my parents, hey, I'm not going to be there. Sorry, cats, not going to be there.
It's the football and other F words draft bonanza.
We'll figure it out. You guys don't worry about that. You just guys go ahead and block off a little bit of chunk of time, and we'll be there to have some beers. Have some, no, go ahead and do it. Whether you want to or not, just do it. You guys are going to come. Don't worry about it. Get there.
We're dragging people. We're dragging people to this event.
We'll have some beer and some stuff, and we'll just have a good time talking football.
Yeah, and we'll hang out, and man, I will probably have to get one of you to take me home that night.
There you go. I'll just get a lift.
Yeah, that too. I'm trying to save money. Got these medical bills these days.
Maybe we should. Here we go. If we can't get it sanctioned, we'll do a charity event. To raise money to pay for your balls.
Yes, I like that idea.
There you go. And it's tied to the draft.
Yeah, this is all assuming that we're not drafted to war, by the way.
Well, that is true. Well, we'll worry about that later.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to
Luckily, Ross is younger than us, so they'll definitely draft Ross before they'll ever draft us in a war.
My hope is that they'll just look at me and they'll be like, this fat fuck ain't doing shit for us. And that'll be that. Because if they ask me to run, to gauge how in shape I am, then they're going to be like, get this guy a gun right now. So hopefully they don't ask me to run.
I'm just going to purposely fall right off the start.
That's a good idea.
Or if they still use like shooting a gun up in the air to start like a 40-yard dash, I'm just going to hold my chest. I don't care if it's the right side or not. Just hold my chest and fall back in.
Yeah, at the military tryouts. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The old military tryouts.
I like that idea. I'm going to hold in my shit for 3 days, and then as soon as they fire that gun in the air, just fill my pants.
There you go.
I'd pop y'all's draft live stream on from the fighter jet.
Thank you, Ross. Ross, do you want to come to our draft party?
Are they dropping you out like a missile from the fighter jet? Because there's no way they're letting you fly one.
No, I'm kamikazing.
Well, it depends on how his military tryout goes.
Last thing he hears is us talking about...
Yes, we drafted love.
Just, oh man, like, we ran out of ammo. We got to start dropping humans on these people.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for us.
It's a great way to end the show.
It's football and F words, and you've just been effed.